working on a 10 by 10 or an 8 by 8, your choice, canvas. And we're doing what's considered to be a true mixed media. So I'm showing you a couple of finished pieces to give you an idea. So you can see we have a focal point, a smaller focal point right here. These are top layers. And then, of course, we have all the different layers that we're going to start building. And sometimes we journal on top, which is what really turns it into a beautiful mixed media piece, because a message is important in most mixed media pieces. So this one is a butterfly, rise in light, in love. And then this one is a heart. And you are so loved, love surrounds you. This it's kind of, you can't see all of it, but this is a focal point, and this is a secondary focal point. Okay, and of course underneath are the different layers. Yeah. Okay, so intention. I'm a intentional creativity artist, but even before I became a certified teacher with intentional creativity, Color of Woman, I always wrote on my canvases. I've always done a form of art journaling with my canvas. So I always begin with an intention. And I want to do the same. So this intention is actually a gift for someone. And I want the message that I give to them to support their creativity and also to represent my love for them. And so I'm going to work with a Stabilo pencil, and I'm just going to write a message here to my muse. I'm just going to say, Dear Muse, please let my love be revealed clearly and show my support for my loved ones' creativity. Love, Kisma. Now I wrote it light because if you've never worked with Stabilo, it is a form of charcoal and it will get very dark very quick. So at this point, I'm just going to take a little dab of water and put it here on my canvas. And then I will rub my fingers through it, because this is part of the encoding of the canvas. Ta-da! So backgrounds, let's talk a moment about backgrounds. This is the first layer of a mixed media, writing the intention. And no, not everybody does that. And I'm not going to put gesso over this because I'm going to be layering many layers, and I eventually will put gesso. So I'm going to start with ephemera. And I brought out my ephemera batch here. So let me pull out just some of it. I've got a lot in here. Okay, we'll use some of these tea bags. I like that. Oh, I like this. Yeah. These are all, I may not use them all, but I pull them out. Well, I like the tea bag, yeah. Maybe a cartoon, that would be funny. couple of other little pieces. I like my ephemera to have lots of different looks to it. Oh, that's from Disneyland. That's going on because I've been to Disneyland with her plenty of times. Maybe a crossword puzzle. Okay, I probably have enough ephemera. All right, so I am going to use gel, acrylic medium gel, to plaster down my ephemera. And this is an intuitive process. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. That's important to know. So I'm just going to use some parchment and this really lovely light portrait pink. And all I'm going to do is blend now. I'm going to blend by going around the edges. So I have, I have a top and a bottom, as you can see. Okay, so for this layer, the next, let me wipe my hands. The next thing, it's still wet. I don't worry about a layer because all we're doing is one layer today, even though one layer consists of the journal writing and then the gelled ephemera and the dabbing of the paint. And now I'm going to add some white, Titan white paint. So it's, the first step is, you can see a lot of different layers. Technically it's 1, 2, 3, 4 layers right now that we've done in this first step. And I'm going to add a 5th layer now, and then I'll add a 6th layer, and that will be our first step. Okay, give me a second. I got to grab a tool. Okay, here we go. I just have some titanium white. All right. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take I'm going to take some out and just put it in a couple of places, okay? I'm going to spread using an old credit card. Get a little bit more. I'm going to just use my brush to kind of go over the sides real quick. Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay, I'm going to blow it dry for a minute, so close your ears. So now what I'm going to do is, in this layer, is I'm just going to take a palette knife and I'm going to go over it and I'm going to see if there's anything that wants to lift up. Like, see that? I'm just going to lift it up. Rip it off. Even if it's the paint. This kind of distresses, it distresses the surface. But we like that. We like distress on our mixed media pieces because, again, what it does is it begins to create a texture. Let's see how that wants to completely come off like that. Oh, there we go. Boy, I could completely lift that off. So let's do this. Let's just rip a part of it off. Now the idea is not to take off the whole piece if a piece is loose, but just to get bubbles, like sometimes bubbles, you'll have bubbles in your paper. This is a perfect time to remove bubbles. All right. I'm going to just pull off the little pieces. All right, so the final layer for today is going to be sealing it. So I'm gonna seal it with a layer of gel, okay? And all I'm gonna do is just go over the whole thing with a layer of gel. And that takes this step and it seals it in. So the pieces, raw pieces that are exposed won't continue to peel and lift up. And anything that was wanting to come up, like down here, will now be secured down again. we have it. So let's just do a review of step 1 in a mixed media canvas. And you can use this as a foundation consistently in your mixed media canvases. Our review for today's work on this 10 by 10 canvas is, first, I wrote my intention. So I wrote it with my Stabilo pencil, and then I dabbed some water on it, and I smeared it and encoded it into the canvas. I set the intention. The water acts as a blessing, but I set the intention into the canvas. So I transformed the surface of the canvas, the portal or the doorway of the canvas with that intention. That was layer 1. Layer 2 is I gelled down ephemera all over the surface. Layer 3 was I went over it with parchment paint. I went over all the seams with parchment paint to begin to blend and create a more uniform feeling, and to add a little bit of color with this blush, this light portrait pink. So the parchment is 1 layer. Layer 3, the pink, is layer 4. Then I took titanium white paint. Okay, titanium white paint. And using a credit card, I smoothed it in an even layer all over the surface. Now you could use any color. You don't have to use titanium. I like my mixed media foundations to be more on the light side, so that if I get darker, I still have the lightness of the message and intention showing through. But you could certainly add, make your titanium white a color. Hit it with a hair dryer, or you let it dry naturally. But I prefer to work with it while it's still a bit damp, and then come in with a palette knife and go through lightly over every piece of ephemera and find out where the bubbles are, what pieces want to come up, whether it's scraps of paint or whether it's pieces of ephemera, so that you begin to add texture to the surface and variation. And once you do that, then to give a complete coating of gel as a sealant all over the top and the sides, so that everything in this step becomes sealed in. It is now sealed in. And you want to let this completely dry, and let it completely dry naturally. Don't blow dry it. Let it completely dry. Have fun creating. Signing off and inviting you over to visionaryartistpath.com. This is Kisma. Have a great one. Bye.